So my friend, what is it that you are doing? Eh? What is it that you are doing? Yes, Father. I'm drawing. I'm drawing the picture. So my friend, you are drawing the picture, eh? So you want to draw for the rest of your life, eh? That is what you are telling me. Yes. I want to draw instead of so what you are telling me, eh? Is that you want to draw instead of go to school, eh? That is what you are telling me, correct? Yes, sir. I want to draw. Get up. No, get out of this house, my friend. And you don't come back until you graduate from NASA and get your degree on the moon, okay? You don't come back until you figure out your biology degree and you find a cure for COVID-19, eh? Keep my friend, keep. Yes, Father. Yes. Hee. What do we have in store today? Well, considering I just got chased, I think we'd be disobedient and we draw regardless because that's what we do. So, for today, I am Professor. Okay?
This dude is mad.
I'm Professor Brian. I'm going to teach you guys how to draw a face. It's so simple, students. It's so simple. I can make this really easy for you. Just stick with me. Okay? Just stick with me. That's all you have to do. So, let's jump right into it. My little astronauts. Let's jump right into it. Haha. So you clicked on the video because you want to draw faces. Well, we gotta warm up, like in everything that we do, whether it be sports, this, that, and the other. So here, you just want to draw circles, but instead of using your wrist to draw, you see my wrist is not moving. You want to use your shoulder. Your shoulder can cover a larger range of motion. It's smoother. You feel me? And then you draw circles inside of circles and try to get them right as freaking close as possible. So we're good. Let's go. Let's jump right into it. So you see, when we're jumping right into it, we're using the same method that we used to draw the circles to start the face. It's really important to use circles when you're drawing a face, especially. Circles are everything. So what we're doing now is we're laying the foundation. You want to use forms. I know it's hard to think in terms of forms when you're drawing, but you really want to use forms. Emphasize forms over shapes. Shapes and forms, yeah, they go hand in hand, but you want to be able to see the dimension when you're drawing whatever you're drawing. It makes it super important. And then as far as guidelines go, you just want to, use a ruler, or if you can freehand it. But most importantly, get your stuff together. Know where everything is. So for me personally, I loved starting with the nose. That for me, the nose it's like the center of everything. I base everything off of where the placement of the nose is. So if I can get the placement of the nose down, then I can pretty much get everything together. And so now I'm drawing circles to represent the eyeballs under the eyelids. This helps me, see exactly where everything will go, where the pupils will go, where the iris goes, where all that goes. And it's, it helps just keep everything together. And if you notice, if you ever pay attention to enough faces, you'll notice that the edge of the nose lines up with the tear duct every time. No matter where you are, if you're drawing eyes, the nose lines up with the tear duct. Never fails. That's how you can check yourself to see if your proportions are right. Every time. So as far as noses are generally complicated things to draw. But if you draw them enough, and if you practice form drawing, and you really break down the nose into 3D shapes, then you can see the overlaps, you can see the under flaps, you can pretty much do anything. Once you understand forms and how important forms are, you're at a god tier level that not many people are at. So here you see me putting in the eyelids, and like I said earlier, you want to draw those circles. I didn't really think that they were that important when I first started, but I'm just now realizing how important drawing those big circles are when it comes to drawing the face. So now right here, I'm going with more of a random approach to drawing. There's no general workflow, just sketching everything out. And remember, please do not be perfect. The goal is to not be perfect. The goal is to have as many sketchy lines as you want. This is your drawing. It's up to you whether you want to share it or not. This is your drawing. Have as many sketchy lines as you want to. You do not have to be perfect, but you do want to make sure everything's in the right place. So that's the importance of the guidelines. So you just saw me sketch out something, the shape of the face. So using the form that we had, we built the face shape off of that form. And that's super important when drawing, that you incorporate your form and your shapes in coherence with each other. So that allows you to take your drawing to the next level. As far as what I'm doing now, I'm just sketching in something quick, something light. You see, I'm making sure everything is lined up. A lot of people love to use rulers for this. It's really up to you, whether you want to use your pencil or your ruler. I personally use a ruler most times, like you saw me do in my last video. Excuse me. Yeah, like in my last video. But today, my ruler is in my room, and I'm a lazy teenager, so I didn't feel like getting it. But besides the point, use something that you can use to line yourself up. Alright, lips. Lips are, I remember when I first started drawing, lips were the most complicated everything. I'll have a separate video breaking down the different features, especially lips. Lips are probably one of the top 10 frustrating things to learn when you're drawing, besides your anatomy stuff. Lips can be tricky every time, but what I did here, since it's at an angle, it's going to be curved down on one spot so it does not pass that nose point, and then elongated on the other side so it matches up with that eye line, with the nose and all that. That's really important, making sure that your proportions are correct. As far as now, it's just miscellaneous stuff. What can we block in? What can we get in? And so when it comes to like drawing stuff like this and this kind of angle, it can be a little tricky trying to make things not look 2D. You want to make it look as 3D as possible, so you give your viewer a sense of dimension, a sense of focus. What can you guide their eye through? So when I'm thinking about this, I'm usually thinking about the color choices that I use? What can I use to make this pop more? And unfortunately for this one, I didn't use color. But if you see in previous videos, there are random colors everywhere, and that's to help the eye be guided through, but at the same time to frustrate the eye as well. So there's no set pattern, but there is at the same time. So right now I'm blocking in the hair. So when drawing hair, a lot of people like to draw each and every detail of the hair. Don't do that. That's just, you don't need to do that. You just need to put, okay, let's be honest. When you're looking at somebody from far away, do you see every strand of their hair? No. You see the form of the hair and where the light is bouncing off, right? Same thing here, just blocking the hair. There's no need for all the fancy little details. We leave that to the photorealistic artists. And if you're a photorealistic artist, knock yourself out. Draw as many strands as you want. But here, it's just an easy blocking. And we have everything in. You see? That's simple. Breaking everything down into simple form shapes. Simple form shapes will help you every time. Don't let it stress you out. Do not let drawing stress you out. It's supposed to be a stress-free thing. So if you mess up, try again. It's okay. Failure is an opportunity to grow. It's not hindering you. It's not making you any worse. Don't get down on yourself. It's just an opportunity to grow. So now I'm taking a kneaded eraser and taking the opacity down on this quote-unquote layer, and we're gonna go back and refine everything. Usually I like to start with the eyes, because if you mess up the eyes, then the whole thing, it just won't feel right anymore. So starting with the eyes allows me to be in control of how the rest of the refinement is gonna go. If the eyes turn out well, then I'm pretty confident that everything else will have a good feel to it. And this is one of my favorite things to do. Get a kneaded eraser, take a layer down, and refine it. When you're drawing your lines, make sure that you're loose with them. You don't want your line, you don't want to draw, slow and like real precise. Keep those lines flowing. You want flowy lines, you want loose lines, you want happy lines. Always go for those fading lines. The slower the line, the more likely you are to mess up, the more likely you are to draw darker. You want to draw light. When you keep the line flowy, less pressure, and it looks better, quite frankly. So right now I'm just stylizing a little something. The original reference did not have glasses on. I just threw those on because I thought it would look pretty dope to do. But yeah, when you're doing things like this, it's important that you have multiple references up. Use every reference that you can. Use every reference that you have. Reference from life. Life is your biggest reference. You see millions of objects a day and you don't even notice. So take a moment, slow down in life. Give yourself a chance to look at everything around you. Give yourself a chance to build around you. Build your visual library. And then you'll be able to just boom, just like that. Boom, just like that. Continue to refine what you have. So now, as we're just refining, we're just chilling now. We're on cruise mode. We already had the foundation. We had a strong foundation with the pre-sketch, or with the actual sketch, with the sketchy lines. So when we're going back and refining, it's like cake work. It's like 1, 2, 3. You feel me? So yeah, that's all I can say. Keep your lines loose. So let's break it back down. Number 1, when you're drawing your circles, no hairy circles. We don't like those. Draw from your shoulder. 2, be loose. Use loose lines. Do not press too hard on the paper. Don't press too light. Loose lines. 3, use form shapes. Everything has form to it. Nothing in this world is flat. Even paper has form. Alright? 3, make sure your proportions are right. Observe different pictures of different people, of different races. Once you are able to do that, you are able to distinguish race from race, and you build your visual library until you get a very, not centered, but flowy, loose kind of everything, and you can mesh everything together. You'll notice different traits in different peoples. Especially for me, I noticed different noses in different races, the different nose shapes, different lip shapes, eye shapes, all of that, even forehead, chin. And then last but not least, have fun, experiment. You should always be constantly experimenting with your artwork. It's your artwork. You can't get better if you stay in the same place. You always got to try new stuff. And that's what I love doing, trying different art styles, trying a new art form, doing this, doing that, especially with faces. So most importantly, have fun, experiment. We're just out here to have fun, really. So I guess this little sketch is about to be done. I'll get back to y'all later. And there you have it, my fellow students. Now you can draw a face with what I taught you. Now you're masters. Welcome. Welcome. Wait. Ooh. Excuse me. I almost forgot to tell y'all. Press the subscribe button